it says, welcome, Cheyenne Cone Pastel 2. In order to apply to a program, you must first accept the new terms and conditions of use and privacy policy. To do this, click My Profile, update the profile, and click I accept. So I will do that. But first, I just want to note that often people do not scroll down on the home page. So when you actually do start applying for things and looking for applications you've started but saved, you want to scroll down. And as you do things, all of these zeros that I currently have will turn into the numbers that are pertinent for you. But I will go to my profile, terms and conditions. I will agree. I already get the newsletter, so I will not say that now, but that's just me. Great, and it brings me back immediately. On this page, as I mentioned before, Mass Cultural Council makes its own direct grants. So that is over here under current opportunities. When we're talking about the local cultural council program and applying to local cultural councils, we come over here to apply to a local cultural council. I am going to choose Abington because it's first on the list, and it brings me to the eligibility screen. If I would like to, I'm going to go back because if I would like to learn more about Abington, there's information here and a link to get to that, how to get to that page, just so you see that here. But I will hit apply now for Abington. It's taking me to the eligibility quiz for organizations. The first question is, does the proposed project meet the Mass Cultural Council's definition of arts, humanities, or sciences? And then it lists the definition of arts, humanities, and sciences that Greg went over earlier. The second question is, no, and I will say you want to choose yes. It'll tell you that it's not the right answer if you choose no. Does the proposed project provide public benefit by contributing to the community as a whole rather than only benefiting a single individual or specific group? An important component of public benefit is advancing diversity, equity, inclusion, and access. Yes. Does the applicant reside in or is the applicant located in Massachusetts? Yes. Are you applying for a grant on behalf of a religious organization or group with a religious affiliation? No. Does the proposed project or program discriminate or discourage participation on the basis of race, gender, religious creed, color, national origin, ancestry, disability, sexual orientation, or age? No. Is the proposed project or program accessible to persons with disabilities? Yes. Will LCC grant funds be used to purchase alcohol? No. Have you read and understood the LCC program guidelines as well as the specific council priorities of the local cultural council to which you are applying? Link to read them if the answer is no, so that it can be a yes. You hit save draft. It just saves all of your answers. You hit check eligibility. It gives you a summary of all your answers. You hit proceed. And you get to the application. The first tab is eligibility, which it just showed to you 3 times. Then you come over to applicant information. That will be pre-populated based on your user account. So the first one you want to come to is project information. You want to check that applicant information is correct, but it should be especially if you just created your account. Project information, the amount that is requested of the local cultural council for the grant, the discipline for the project, multidisciplinary, media arts, theater, things like that, the title of the project, when the project will take place. A lot of these are narratives, so you can type in the dates in the box, or you can write a sentence, whatever makes more sense to you. Where will the project take place? We know that projects are both virtual and in person now, so another opportunity to just give us the information however it makes sense. The estimated number of people served. Underneath it says number of people served. Estimate of the number of individuals that you predict will participate in or benefit from this project. That can be based on numbers from the past for past events, similar events, other municipal department events, whatever you think is a good benchmark for your project. Does this project primarily serve school children, grades pre-K to 12? I'm going to say no on this one because we have other programs that can serve the pre-K through 12 population. I'm going to save draft here because I'm done with the page. Hit next, and it will take me to project overview, where I will have 900 characters to summarize the proposed project or program, just giving us an idea of who is involved, what are your goals, if you've done it before, who is the target audience for this project is the second question. And underneath that, it says target audience, the specific individuals you are hoping to attract or attend or attend or participate in a project. These individuals may be defined by age, economic status, geographic location, interests, etc. And you have 250 characters for that question. Third, under project overview, we have what is the cost of participation for attendees, if any. Events do not have to be free. They can't be. If some parts are free and others are not, you have 100 characters to explain the cost of participation. Next is, how does the proposed project provide public benefit and contribute to the cultural vitality of the community as a whole? And underneath it says public benefit. Local council funds may only be used to support activities that contribute to the cultural vitality of the community as a whole, rather than benefiting any private individual or group. However, this does not mean that a large crowd of people needs to participate in order to satisfy the public benefit requirement. An important component of public benefit is advancing diversity, equity, inclusion, and access. And that has 750 characters. Next, we also have 750 characters to answer. Please describe the qualification of key artists, humanists, interpretive scientists, or organizations involved with leading the cultural component of this project. This question is not required. That's why it does not have this red asterisk next to it. If there are any other individuals or organizations that will be involved in the project as planners, partners, or collaborators, please list them below. If applicable, please distinguish between those who have made a firm commitment to the project and those with tentative or potential involvement. We understand that because there is a long timeline for projects, that some will be applications long before the project is born, and some will be done long after the project is completed. And so you should have the space to address either of those situations with these questions. And lastly, under project overview, we have, how are you planning to promote the project to the community and your target audience? with 500 characters. Moving on to the budget section, I will hit save drafts just for the good muscle memory and move on to budget. You don't want to miss it here because it's very easy. I myself missed it. I am ready to go right to project budget, but this is real up here. Click on the project budget button to enter your expenses for the entire project. So you actually have to go into project budget and line by line add broad strokes of your expenses, marketing and promotion. Let's say it's flyers for $200. And then we have equipment rental of a speaker for $100. And I will do one more. Production and technical costs for mics, and that will be another $100. There we go. Save that. Then I can close it after I hit save, and the budget will come up here. Then you can move on to projected income. Please briefly describe the other sources of projected income needed to complete this project. So I've put here that my project is going to cost $400. I can either say I'm requesting from the beginning $400 so that this grant can fund my entire project, so I don't have other sources of income planned. I can say that there will be a suggested donation, that there will be concession sales, so you have 500 characters to explain how or even if your plan is to take in money as well. This in-kind support question is not required, but it is here. If applicable, please briefly describe any in-kind support you are getting for this project. And in-kind support is the donation of material things and time, and not monetary donations. Next is, how will you adjust the project if the council cannot fund the entire amount you are requesting? For example, how will you raise additional funds or scale the programming back? So if the answer to me was you can have $250 instead of $400, I would have to talk about whether or not I would need to scale it back or try to find another source of income before that became a problem. And the last question here in budget is also not required. If you have applied to other local cultural councils for funding for this specific project, please list the names of those councils below. You can apply to multiple councils if you feel that your programming is providing public benefit to those communities. You have 250 characters here to let us know who you are applying to. And you will see in some councils priorities and guidelines that they try not to grant to projects that are receiving funding in another town if their application is not located in their town. So that information is very helpful to the council. I will save again and move next to additional materials. It reads, supplemental materials are limited to one PDF file that is 3 printed pages in length. If you have multiple PDFs, you must combine them into a single PDF, not exceeding 3 pages. Please visit the website of the council to which you are applying to learn if supplemental materials are required. This information will be listed under their council priorities. It's not necessary to upload supplemental materials unless they are required by the council. In case it's helpful, here are some sites that allow you to crop or delete pages from a PDF, which is great to have the instructions on how to do that so you can comply with this one PDF of up to 3 pages. Sometimes the supplemental materials are letters of support or agreements with venues. I will hit save draft again just to be a good person. And the acknowledgement is last. It reads, ready to submit. Once you click submit below, you will no longer have access to make changes to your application. If your submission is less than 10 megabytes, you will receive a copy of your application via email. If your submission is larger than 10 megabytes, you will not receive an email confirmation. At any time, you may log back into the system and view your submitted application. After the application deadline, and while the applications are under review, you will not be able to access the application through the website. To save a copy of your application, click Application Summary, which is up here on every screen at the top of the page, and save the file on your device. Please note, you have not successfully submitted your application until you see the following message. Congratulations, you have successfully submitted your application. Very clear. Authorized signature. I certify that all the information contained in this application, including all supporting documents and materials, is true and correct to the best of my knowledge. I certify that the required acknowledgement will be given to Mass Cultural Council and the granting local cultural council if this application is approved. I certify that reasonable accommodations will be made to ensure that people with disabilities have equal physical and communications access as defined by state and federal law and as outlined in the LCC program guidelines. Clicking submit below serves as an authorizing electronic signature. You have to attest that you agree to these terms and hit submit. And it didn't work. I didn't fill in any of the questions. What is interesting and helpful here, I'm not going to go through and answer all of these questions, but say I have just 1 or 2, I can click on that and it will bring me directly to the question that I have not submitted. So now if I go home, I don't know if it'll say I have, 1 application in progress. So if I was going to go back in, I would come down here instead of going back through and applying again, because then you will not have, even though you saved, you will not have access to anything that you did because it will be a brand new application. So I'm going to go through again as an individual, but I do want to take some time to talk about anything that I can that's not just reading the questions. So while I log in, if any of my colleagues want to bring up any of the questions that have come up, that is a welcome time. Let me take that as a great time. This time I am in as an individual. I'll just go back to the homepage and make sure. Nothing really looks that different. There's 0 current opportunities because you only see the opportunities that are available to your kind of user account. So the 4 opportunities that were available to the organization are not available to the individual. You still have my profile, all of the in progress stats, and apply to a cultural council. So when I click apply to a cultural council, I would choose Acton Boxborough this time. And we again have the eligibility quiz that speaks to what Greg was going over. Does the project meet the definitions of arts, humanities, and sciences? Does the project provide public benefit? Does the applicant reside in Massachusetts? Are you applying on the behalf of a religious organization? Does the proposed project discriminate? Is the proposed project accessible to persons with disabilities? Will LCC grant funds be used to purchase alcohol? And have you read and understood the guidelines? These I actually do have to do the answers because it won't let me move forward. Save. So that's 1. Then check eligibility, that's 2. And then proceed is 3. And we are out of eligibility. And again, on to the same tabs. Applicant information. Is the information displayed above for the applicant information correct? So it is for this fake Carolyn that I have created. But if it's no, you get a message as to how you can update your information. Ensure that your organization and contact profile are up to date. You can go to your home portal and click on your organization profile or my profile in this case, shortcut to update your profiles. So that's great. You can do that. If it is incorrect, it's really important to make sure that this information is correct up front because it will be used in the contracting process. And if you are approved for a grant, you're going to want to be able to get it. None of these tabs are different if you are a organization or an individual applying. You have project information with how much you're requesting and general information about the project overview, where we ask for that more in-depth information about what you're trying to do, who you're trying to do it for, and if you expect it to cost anything and who you're working with for the project. The budget, where you again have the project budget button where you add the line items for the expenses, a question about whether or not there is income and in-kind support. How would you adjust if you do not get full funding for your project? And if you are also applying for the same project for other cultural councils. If it's a different project, it does not need to be mentioned, but if it's the same project, please include it there. You have the same opportunity to upload one PDF of up to 3 printed pages if that is required by the local cultural council that you are applying to. And again, we have the acknowledgement and the attestation.